This is V from A Canadian RVer. The next part of the museum that we're visiting is called Heroes of the Sky, an adventure in early flight. So as you enter this part, what do you see? The Wright Brothers in their first flight at Kitty Hawk. This was a full-size model of exactly what they had in their first flight. And this was part of the Wright Brothers cycle shop, which we'll see real soon. This was a real nice display that you could actually walk all the way around it and see it from many angles. So here's the Wright Cycle Company. And this was one of the very first bikes that they've ever produced out of the Wright Brothers cycle shop. Again, what we're seeing here is some very early concepts of the first few helicopters in 1939. So from 1909 to 1939, these aircraft were being built. And what we're looking at here, this was the Model T of the sky, as it's called here. And Henry Ford produced this airplane. So Henry Ford was also quite active in the airplane business. And you can see that this aircraft was almost just wrapped with kind of a fabric painted silver, and you could see the engine was a 3-cylinder engine. But people trusted Henry Ford. This was a mail airplane that used to deliver mail to various cities and places where they flew this. And they had some cutaway engines, which was really neat to see. And this is all part of the Boeing Airplane Company. This was also a very nice exhibit here with the Bird Antarctic Expedition and a beautiful classic vehicle in front. And there was a really neat sign, this plane to Coffeyville, Kansas City. Now this area was really interesting because this was about the era when they had the biplanes, and it was always a big feat and shows and stuff to watch wing walkers, I guess they were called in their time. And this area kind of exhibited that with all the different airplanes, the biplanes, and the various tech specs that they had in them. And this was a Canuck. So in the background they had what it looked like bleachers, and people would be sitting there at various fairs and shows, and these planes would be flying around kind of doing wing walking and acrobatics. Now we're coming up to a tent here, and I'll tell you more about it as we come a little closer to it. And there you can see the bleachers, but this was in the tent that was on the right hand side as we've entered, and you had a panoramic view. Basically you could stand in there and it would look just like you're a wing walker, and I guess that's what they were trying to simulate. So they were doing aerial twirls and maneuvers, and they would try to do it as if you were on the wing of the airplane. Let's keep watching. Another very nice display here with the Fokker, and it was, I believe this one was another Arctic adventure. And they set it up really nice that you can walk all the way around and you can see the various parts of the airplane. And the scenery, what they tried to do, of course, make it look like you're in the Arctic. Josephine Ford, part of the expedition. And they also had a real nice soundtrack here, but it was very noisy, so I took the soundtrack out. Now this was really neat. This was walking into the main exhibit area. They had a full DC-3 here, I believe that's what the aircraft is. And it was so cool to see it suspended just like that as you walk underneath it. Well, we're going to leave you here. This was Heroes of the Sky, the Henry Ford Museum. This is V from A Canadian RVer. Hope you've enjoyed this segment. We'll be back with steam and farming. See you in the next video.